Okay, welcome guys to another episode of Catch a Fire. We're here today, Sunday morning. We're here at the Golden Square Freedom Park. This is one of the spaces opened recently by government right here on Fairchild Street. I encourage you guys to really come on down and really take in the ambience. We're standing here by the installation done by Ras Akim, Ras Aishi. Also big respect to Heshimu as well and some of the other guys who have put in some work on this installation. Today we're going to be talking to a young fashion designer, some person who's been very inspirational over the last few years. A lot of creative content online, touching social issues, touching a lot of different things with her creative ability, spoken word, poetry, and so on. We're going to speak to her today. The last time you guys saw me, obviously, I spoke to Crystal Howell. That was just before the election, and you guys already know I would have contested the last election representing St. John for the Alliance Party for Progress. During the election, I did not utilize Catch a Fire as a platform to promote anything to do with politics and so on. They're two separate different things. You know, Catch a Fire is really here to promote positivity, to promote black business, to promote upliftment of the working class, of our people, Afro-Bajans. That's who we talk to, that's who we promote for, that's really what this program is all about. So I encourage you guys to continue to support Catch a Fire. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Catch a Fire Barbados. You can find it relatively easy. And just stay tuned for a lot of the work that we're going to be doing. Going forward, we're going to be really focusing a lot on solutions, speaking to people who are active in Barbados, in the various fields and so on, and give them the spotlight to really share their stories with you. And hopefully you guys can really be inspired by what it is that we're trying to do here at Catch a Fire. So stay tuned. We're going to be talking to the Kudos Kid coming up in a few seconds right here on Catch a Fire. Thank you. Okay, so like I said in my introduction earlier, we introducing you guys to some person who's been extremely active, not just in terms of fashion design, but what brought me obviously onto your radar is the video that you would have released before the elections. It really sparked some interest locally. 7 minutes long, and I watched the entire video. It was something that was really interesting to me, the issues that you touched and so on. But before we dive into that, we're going to show the audience that video a bit later on. I want you to introduce yourself to our audience. We really want to go on a journey to find out who is the Kudos Kid that we see on Instagram, so vibrant all the time. So start by telling us, who are you?
Gaynelder Grazette is a creative. Everything art, dancing, painting, poetry, which that's the first time I actually did it publicly. All fashion, dressing up, conversationalist. And I like to put myself on stage. I was always doing it from the time I was young, involved in NIFCA, always involved in something or the other. I believe that we, as young people and influential people, we need to put ourselves out there. So that's basically what I am in the process of doing.
Okay, so get a bit more specific for me. Is this a hobby? Is this something that you do for a living? Is this your business? Is this your life?
Yes, fashion is everything. Eat, sleep, drink. From the time I was young, I actually used to be making dolly clothes all the time. And I used to always be sketching clothes, but I didn't exactly know that that was what I was going to do. And then as I grew older and decided to get into fashion and stuff, I entered the Polytechnic pageant. And my Polytechnic teacher was like, "You aren't ready to do a gown," because I said I can do the gown myself. And she was like, "You aren't ready to do a gown. You need to do it in the class and stuff like that." And I told her, "No, I just want you to help me, but I can do it at home because obviously I wouldn't want everybody to see the gown."
Yeah.
And she's telling me no, and I told her when I come back, when I win best gown, I can come back and tell you. And every day I went home and pick at it, fondle with it, what needed to be done, perfect it, whatever. And then on the night I won best gown.
Wow.
So I've always been into that was the point where I knew it was for me, because I went up against people that used to win best gowns all the time. Everybody was like, "Who's this girl?" and stuff like that. But I've always been very particular when it comes to doing things with my hands and stuff like that. So I just fell into place with it. Been doing BMATs and always striving all the time, and I find the games somewhere, like places where I want to be and go and stuff like that. So yeah, fashion is everything for me.
Okay, excellent. Talk to me about some of the people that would have inspired you. I know there are tons of fashion designers in Barbados. Barbados has a rich history when it comes to fashion design, not just Kaduma and so on. Who are some of the people that you would have observed?
Raj is a big one. I know Raj personally. I met him now. But the the meticulousness. I love tailoring
Right.
because you know you gotta be patient and you gotta be able to look back at your mistakes and know, all right, next time I can do this here a little different. And then I'm heavy into pressing. Like anybody that's followed me know that's something that I always told everybody. You got met the iron your best friend. So people like Raj, but to be honest, I didn't come up under the body stitching or really seeing the body stitching. It was just something that I pick up as time went on. Even when I was at Polytechnic, my teacher asked me if I ever stitched before. So I just think it was for me. I wasn't really into fashion like that, as in knowing the fashion designers in Barbados and stuff like that. But Raj was definitely a big one for sure. I just follow him a lot.
Okay, oftentimes, you know, not just in terms of fashion, but in terms of the Barbadian psyche overall, we tend to think sometimes that, you know, foreign is often superior. What has your experience been in terms of the receptivity to local fashion design?
I think it's something that people are now really getting into. Barbados is a place where, to be honest, people follow trends. So you would see something will come up and everybody will got it on parties. Something as simple as coming to town, you will see somebody in it. So beforehand, I was more into seamstress work because it was kind of hard to step out the box in a sense. I always used to be outside the box, but still it has grown with time and everything like that. And I think the younger fashion designers now have a greater chance to get further than you have to do so many years. Because I was doing it from 16 and I'm 33. So I think that they are in a better time with it, but Beijers are still kind of, they follow trends and stuff like that. But I think they're becoming more and more receptive, especially the guys.
Yeah.
The men really, because I wasn't into male fashion before, but no, the men wearing leather and zips and colors. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. All right, let's dive now into poetry, your NIFCA experience as a young person. You know, spoken word, creativity on a whole is really all about social commentary, sharing your views, your own perspective with a wider audience. Talk to me about that part of you.
As I said, that was the first day that I did it. I actually like to write. I write songs sometimes, poetry sometimes. But as you just mentioned, social commentary, I grew up on those kind of things. So I like to listen to the Gabby and even Brainer and even Fireback as the guy that drum. Karu.
Right.
That was the music, you know, for me. So, because that music really told stories and made you aware, right? So, I think poetry, bringing it from that point of view, was something that was going to be capturing because it's different. And as I say, you wanted to capture people in a different way, and I guess in a way too that people have never seen me do it, because people don't know I write, because so much people ask me, you wrote it yourself? Yeah, I have a far-fetched thing of writing a novel, but I don't know when that's gonna be. But
it will happen. Just keep it on the bucket list.
But yeah, I think that we need to tap into creativity a lot when we want to. The same way how social commentary was, you want to get a point across. A song is very catchy, so it's like you tell people something and then it sticks in their mind.
Right.
So I think spoken word and stuff like that is one of the ways that we could do it. That you could target younger minds, because as you say, you got to capture the attention.
Right.
So it's a way to make younger people more aware of what's going on, you know, because I think a lot of people ain't really seeing what's going on, or maybe they don't care. But I thought it was something that needed to be said, and I said it.
All right. Part of this program obviously is we like to identify the issues. We're fully aware that there's several issues in Barbados, and this is not something that's exclusive to Barbados. Everywhere you go in the world, you know, every society has its issues and wants to become a better society tomorrow. From your point of view as a young woman in Barbados, we're going to get to the piece that you would have done. But before we get to that, I want you to talk to me. What has your experience been in Barbados over the last 15 years, 20 years as a young person growing up, maturing in society? What has your experience been?
I I think that we have a big issue with holding back creatives and entrepreneurs. The people who are going to be tomorrow, who are supposed to be guiding the country, and when we stifle them, I think that you're stifling your country in a whole. We meet a lot of problems, like something as simple as shipping. I have another brand called Plum, and when I first decided to do it, I got a lot of international recognition for plus size girls outside. But when you turn around and you work out how much you gotta pay for jewelry when you bring in fabrics, and how much you gotta turn around and sell the things, it's like it could compete with people like Fashion Nova and them style wise, but I can't compete with them price wise. So I already pushed myself out to the bracket I would like to be in. You know what I mean? And I think is very daunting. You have to have a broad back to keep doing it. I know a lot of people that have great ideas, but then turn around and put it on the back burner, or it had to get squashed because it did not make sense cost-wise. You know, I remember on the live, this guy was talking about some hats that he had, and he said he had to ship them from Miami. He did not even had any in his hand when he first did them, because it made no sense bringing them to Barbados to ship them back out from here. So then you don't even got your product. There's a lot of fundamental things that people will think are small, but it really is very stifling to the creative, and I think that we don't understand how much creativity we really have in this country. You have people that can compete with some of the best in the world on the world stage, but it's always this refrain where to get up, you need to get out, and that's not good as a country. Right. It's not good. And a lot of younger people is gonna go after working for people for a structure, because it's like entrepreneurship is going to be so hard. I've had talks with people wear the same swimsuit line because I had to put it on hold to try to, do all the fundamental things. And I'm even thinking about sending my swimsuits to somebody in the States and letting them ship them to the places for me, because shipping them from Barbados, it shouldn't be so impossible. You just feel like you jump in so many red tape, and I think that's something that definitely needs attention. Also, investing in creatives and entrepreneurs and stuff, because social media has made the world so small that you need to be able to push your younger people. You see other countries, if people have talent, if they can run sports, whatever it is, as long as it could compete on the world front, you see countries investing in them, and I feel that we don't do that, and that's sad.
Right. So oftentimes in Barbados we get an idea of entrepreneurship and business, when it comes to the masses, that is really limited to vendors, stall owners, micro enterprise. I want you to tell me, what is your definition? What is your idea of an entrepreneur? You're speaking to obviously young people who would want to get into business and so on. What does it entail? What's an entrepreneur?
For me, entrepreneurship is actually going against the status quo, because you can make a business out of anything as long as you know how to market it, and as long as you understand your target audience. If you look now, especially the younger generation has more, I would say, space to expand, because you got things like gamers, YouTubers, you know what I mean? Where you could hone your creativity and sell it is not the usual job anymore. So anybody who has a good idea and they're looking to branch out on their own and really push their idea, I think is an entrepreneur. Right. It doesn't have to necessarily be the ordinary, as you say, the vendors and stuff like that. But talking about entrepreneurship for me is also kind of touchy, because I was speaking about this the other day. I find that with entrepreneurs in Barbados, as you say, everybody stifles them to a small business. I've never really seen an entrepreneur from Barbados or a small business person really elevate to have like big chain, whatever, franchise, right. And to me that speaks to the structure. Right. That speaks to the structure. Maybe that's the way that it made that you don't really elevate.
Right. It's set that way.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I wanna find out now. So we know that these structures are in place, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, you do your spoken word. That's one of the reasons why you do my program and so on, to really
Right.
fight against these structures and so on that we know exist. They've been in existence for a long time before we were even born. So again, speaking to young aspiring entrepreneurs, how do you conquer in some place like Barbados? How do you rise above the things that are set in place to really, you know, pretty much keep things limited,
Right.
for micro enterprises, for growing businesses and so on?
Right.
How do you rise above it? Because you've been doing, you're 33 now. You've been doing it from the time you were 16.
That's still a small
Share-
business.
Yeah, well, but at the end of the day, you're still in existence.
Yes, of course. And elevate.
and growing.
Yeah.
Growing the enterprise. What is your secret? How do you motivate yourself to stay committed to your cause?
First and foremost, I would say everything is in God's hands. Whatever it is, it's already written. And then there was something that happened to me in my early, that I know that I've got a destiny, you know, to fulfill. But secondly, I would say you got to be a fighter. You got to be a fighter. Many days I've cried, I've sweat. Things have happened, but you gotta get it the next day and know that this is what you want to do within your heart, you know. And as long as you carry that, that's the base of it. Secondly, you need to look around and see what's happening. You need to keep your business seen, heard, because if you faint into the background, you are not in the front of people's mind. You know, you want that if somebody say, I feel good that if somebody think about fashion, they think about me. Or I want the people that names will call because I fought for that. You know, you need to do things. So marketing is very important, I would say, especially to the young entrepreneurs now. Utilize social media. It's very, 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 very important. Investment in business is hard to come by, but if you could, money always helps. So if you could get investments and stuff like that, that's great. And I feel like you should always try to elevate what you know. Be open to always learning. I told somebody the other day, he told me about me being hard, and I said, I tried. And he said, you don't need to be humble with me because you hard. And I tell him, no, I never condition myself to think I'm the best, because when you get to the best, then you start growing. I always think I could do better. You know, and that's just, it's all about mentality. You gotta be a fighter, and you gotta be, for me, you gotta be humble, because you gotta be able to see every single time I do something, I pick it down and say, I could do this. I could do this, so that I elevate myself all the time. Never think that you know enough. Keep educating yourself, even if you're gonna go back to school, get some more degrees, do whatever, take online courses, whatever. Because I had started my business already, and then I went back to business because I wanted more knowledge. You know? So I feel like that's another thing. Invest in yourself always. Sometimes you gonna got to, like recently, since on the journey I've been on, pushing my fashion design hard, I had a time that I had to choose between going to lunch with my friends or pay for the shoot.
Right.
And I pay for the shoot. You know what I mean? Because we know that in COVID time, that you know, things are a little slow, but investing is everything. You might not get it back now, but it's gonna come back, and it's gonna be a great reward.
All right. So I want to ask, you know, one of the most important things that's happening in Barbados right now, amidst all of the other chaos, is really the education reform that we're hearing so much about. You would have done the 11 plus exam, so did I. What are your views on Barbados' education system, on education reform, the removal of the 11 plus exam, the introduction of middle school, schools of excellence, and so on? What are your views?
First, I want to say children need to get back into school.
I agree 150%.
We interacting with the same parents that come in, interacting with people, the middle neighborhoods, and being honest, when you look at the rate, children have dirty least. They wear masks the less, they sanitize the less. There's no social distance with children, and they're living right. That's it for me. They need to get back into school.
Right.
I think that the school accidents and all of this is just using the same, to be honest, using the same system, just going to put in their money. Because if you're going to still put a bracket around it and discriminate against the children that maybe not so bright, then are you still conditioning them the same way as the common entrance? Where if I get to Harrison's or come here, everybody clapping and everybody, what school you child going to? But then if I go to a lower school, you child come crying. Well, to me, the school should be reformed in a sense where you target what the children are good at. And I can say this because I had experience in this. When I was going to secondary school, I remember our principal came out and said we was going to forefront. You know, you got to pick your subjects to see what. And I already know I wanted to do clothing and textiles, and I wanted to do art for sure. Because I already started making my mind and want to be a fashion designer. And they came and said, I must do a foreign language, and I must do a science. Nothing to do with what I wanted to be. But they made that choice, and you had to pick them in categories. And I had a level clothing and textiles, and the foreign language and the science. I was like, oh well, I ain't really do good in it because I knew that it had nothing to do with.
That's not where your passion was.
Exactly.
Right.
And then when I left school, I am back at a polytechnic when I could have already start from secondary school making clothes. So for me, it's like we need to hone what the children are good at. You got some children that they might not be the brightest, but they're real good with their hands. Here, teach them makeup from school. The same way they sit them on YouTube. If you look and see, a lot of the children now taking a lot of YouTube and they're learning a lot of things, picking up things from early. You could give them the same things in the classroom. I see St. James had a cosmetology that the beauty hair supply store to do it. I thought that was so good doing it. All kind of mannequins and hair stuff and things. And don't only put it at the lower class schools. Let me say this because when I was at BCC, one of my colleagues that was in my class, she went to Harrison's College and she got a science scholarship and she used it to do fashion.
Right.
And people were like, you got all this brain and you're doing fashion? But people gotta follow their passion. You know what I mean? When you follow your passion, the money will come. I always say that. So put it at a broad space across the schools, but also talk to the children, find out what is they want to do and invest in them. Make the criteria or the timetable to suit what they want to do. And I think that is where we need to change. It's like we teaching, because there was something that I came across in a video where they said, if you teach a fish to climb a tree, then it gonna feel all like life. You got so many different personalities of children, so many different abilities, but then you teaching them all the same syllabus in 2022. I think that is a recipe for disaster, and I think that renaming it and saying school of excellence, and you're still putting that discrimination in children's brain because it's like, especially the name, like if I don't get it, am I not excellent? I can not excel. You know what I mean? I don't like it.
Right.
I don't like it.
So okay. So what you're saying is more of the same. So you're really saying that what needs to happen is to
we need a total breakdown.
Full breakdown of the system. I think that's a brilliant response. I want to talk to you now about spirituality and religion. Slavery is something we can't escape it. It's part of our history. It's not the only part of our history.
Right.
Prior to slavery, obviously there would have been, tremendous things happening to our ancestors and so on. From that perspective, I want to talk to you about that. This is something that's been another hot topic in Barbados in terms of where we go, the removal of the word God from not the Constitution, but the preamble to the Constitution and so on. The Charter is what they call it. What are your views as a young Barbadian woman when it comes to religion and God and spirituality and the whole host of these things?
I would say I'm a spiritual person. I believe, whatever you want to call him, I believe that there's a higher being controlling things. And I think that a lot of things we are doing morally now, we are flying in our face, to be quite honest. Removing it from schools and stuff, I think that, to be honest, we like to follow a lot of the Americanized system. That's something that happened outside and looking around my country. To me, that's what they like to follow and follow suit. But they also need to look at the impact it had doing it in places like that. You know, I feel that a lot of people we do a lot of things and they don't ever think about the repercussions after. Children need learning in life, especially even taking out something as simple as Sunday school. Remember Sunday school used to be something to do on a Sunday morning, Sunday evening, and the church will, I ain't saying that you gotta be strict or Christian or whatever, but it has certain
Set a
goals
foundation.
and, yes,
Okay.
and morals and stuff like that. And all them things we dismiss. So the kids don't have so many idle time, the men get right nurturing, and then parents in a country where the cost of living high doing a lot of things to make up. A lot of people got 2 and 3 jobs and extra businesses and things. So if you don't got that structure, that morals and godly, you know, when we left in the children, who is actually bringing up the children, raising and giving them structure? I don't think they should remove it from the system. When they're going to school, remember Muslims were going to a room or, you know, whatever, because they wouldn't say prayers. So I don't think it's a case of we offending anybody. We're supposed to be a Christian society, as I say. So why are you trying to just dismiss it? I don't think that is. I don't agree with it.
All right, another good point. We're going to close soon. I want to talk to you now about community. You know, oftentimes, you know, the government is there to do its role, and you know, I've always been advocating that government, you know, build out Barbados more from the grassroots level. What can we do? And I want you know to speak to young mothers, young people, young fathers in Barbados, in the community, in the grassroots level. What can we do for ourselves going forward, 2022 and beyond?
I would think first thing we need to do is start being our brothers keepers again. Everybody just look out for themselves now, and I understand through COVID and everything with mental health and stuff and taking all the extra burden, and we got a lot of things to study and stuff like that. But we need to remember that somebody's always worse off than you. And by the time I was small, I remember even watching Sesame Street and thing. I remember the one time me one thing, use a content child, give me baits like at school, and I'm making a noise because I know the children in Africa they ain't getting to eat. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like we always gotta look out for the other person, help invest in the other person. Sometimes people don't even want to speak to somebody's child because it's not their child. But so it takes a village, and I think we need to get back to that because, as you just mentioned, the government, but as you said, the grassroots, a lot of the time the community, the poor people is left out. So if we don't look out for each other, then who's gonna look out for us? And yeah, I think that's what is the core of it. What we need to get back to, just looking out for each other. If you got extra money to spend, or you could buy little groceries like I buy grand, and do that. It may just seem small. Sometimes I walk past somebody in town and they'll ask me for $2, and if I go, I give them, you know, and people be like, you give him money to buy drugs, be like, whatever he do with it ain't got nothing to do with me. I do it because God told me to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like empathy. I feel that, I find that, because also taking in so much social media and things as well has made us very desensitized, to be very honest. Sometimes the things I see people laughing at is blow my mind.
Right.
So yeah, we need to start looking back out for we want to do.
All right. Now, the last thing that I want to talk to you about is this video that you did just before the last election a few weeks ago. And you touched on so many things in the video. And I want you know to talk about that piece that you did, but more so what inspired you to do the piece is what I really want to talk about.
To be honest, as I mentioned about conversation in this, and everybody I was speaking to was so discouraged about voting. I mean, like, I was like, I'm voting. And I was like, this is not good because not voting is still voting, which that was a point that so many people tell me. I didn't even know that. And I was like, you know, again, you got to like do something. And then a girlfriend told me, to be honest, people confused. People don't know who to vote for. And I told her, I can tell people who to vote for. And she was like, what? I was like, I can do a video. And I told her, but you know, it's got my flair, so I can be saying different. And they didn't really maintain to what. But to be honest, that was what inspired me. Like, I felt like so many people didn't participate. Even watching it in the night and listening to the count and the numbers, you knew that
Participation was low.
yeah, it was so low, and that is so bad because.
Why is that though? Let's have a discussion. Why are people not going to the polls? Why have people lost so much confidence?
Because to be honest, both people lost confidence in both sides of the government, D and B. the throat, the D, big for a whole 30 seats. That's like a record. Not even only in Barbados. That's something kind of unheard of. And then you turn around now, and to be honest, this government doing some of these same things, and then the transparency that they claim they would have had is not there.
Right.
So people just to the point where it's like, we need a savior, but there's nobody else to turn to, because we just practice a lot of two-party politics too. Anybody else that come up, just get laugh at independence, because everybody want to be. We treat politics like horse racing. Everybody want to be put in winning side.
Right.
So you only go with the color because you want to know when you done. My party win, but what about the boy helping your community? That's the body that deserve your ass, a face that you just see. You know, that actually doing things.
Right.
So for me, we don't even welcome another party. I remember years ago that had NDP.
Right. Which means?
We don't even, the other ones, Solution Barbados and stuff, you call some of the names, people won't even know that there are actually other parties. So I think that they just lost faith in both sides. And Barbadians are so passive that although we know that we need change and reform, nobody really wants to get up to put themselves there to do it. Because in order to form a party, there need to be people to get up and say, okay, we're going to do this. You know what I mean? And no one want to do that. Everybody want. So it's like you're beating a dead horse. You want change, but you don't want to do the things to make the change. Because to be honest, it's not only scary because we live in a small blackball society, you see so all the time, but it also gonna take a lot of heart, a lot of drive. You know, it's like, you know, you running a race and you won't win now, but you're gonna train and train. You might get to 3-4 Olympics, but you know that is the, so it's like gonna be a long fight. Because with the way how business passive, you know, it's not nothing that's gonna happen now.
Overnight, right?
But I mean, you need to start. Something will happen. So I just think that that's where Barbadians is at right now. We get to, and because most people know they say, oh, ain't my topic, so y'all them is the same thing.
That's what you're hearing.
Yeah.
That vote of apathy.
They just say so all the time, but then you are not doing things to make them not the same thing or a different caliber of people. Because then when you practice in partisan politics, because they say there's 3 P's. There's the partisan, there's the party politics where we like to jump up, and there's the promising politics. Where we just buy into all the promises that then will make no sense. A politician can tell you, I'm gonna put everybody in the community in a job. How is that even possible when jobs are already hard? But you buying into that, and then telling me I send my CV or time and I talk to them and I get a job, you ain't voting for them next time, but you already knew from the beginning that you were not going to get a job. So we just buy into a lot of the, you know, the things that the people that start out for you. Yeah.
All right. Fiery Queen, Kudos Kid. Closing words. I often give my guests the opportunity to speak directly to Barbadians, young people especially. I think, you know, young people are the future. So we have to do our best to, you know, as best as we can, share a positive word with our young people. So the floor is yours. It's really been a pleasure speaking to you. Meeting you for the first time. I've always admired your work. I'm not talking fashion, but the creativity in terms of your spoken word and how you're able to bring some of these social issues to life in your own way, I think is brilliant. And obviously the piece that you did, I'm talking about, I'm going to show that piece at the end of this interview, so you guys can look out for that in a few minutes. So yeah, the floor is yours. What do you say to young people listening right now?
I would like to say to young people, the future is ours. And if we do not stand up and take it back, we are going to stand up one day and there will be nothing for our children. I do not even have a child, and I'm scared about what our children will have, even things down to land. And I feel like Barbados, we live here, but it's not made for us. We are just here to toil and help it progress, but you're not supposed to get the reward from it. And we need to get up, stand up, be more aware, invest in each other, come together, put our minds together, and fight the good fight. As long as we fight the good fight, I think that we will make progress. You know? Stay square.
Beautiful. Thanks a lot, guys. So, 7 minutes long. This is your piece just before the... Does this piece have a name?
No.
No?
I ain't even name it.
Yeah, you name it. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoy. Have a look.
Thank you.
So I come to address something about tomorrow because certain things I just can't get swallowed. Cause some of we have become oh so shallow, and after this, some of wanna might even unfollow. You see, I've shown you my talents and I've shown you my best, but today I've got to get something off my chest cause I'm upset at the way my country is going down. Cause some of you ain't gonna be laughing for too long. Look around. Cause politics in this place is just so hypocritical, and politicians backstabbing citizens is just so typical. Ain't nobody that like to skin the teeth more than me, cause I'm silly, but time and place, because certain things need to be taken more seriously. I mean, I see bare things that I do not like nurses striking for money. You think that is right? Not when I just find bare money for that Republic shite, a grand affair and huge stage with bare bright lights. Yeah, the celebration that we were prohibited to attend, only by invitation or if you had a political friend. Excluded out the decision with no referendum, but all of the taxpayers' money when I get in and spend. When I find bare money to pay to clean up the ash, and the men rake it in one pile without any garbage bags, that's how I pass and see about 10 men raking in one spot. What a waste. But let me talk about waste because I almost forgot. The sewage problem that y'all think this administration fix, where all the dudes leading in the swamp, know it full of bare shit and piss. Y'all say y'all turning the whole country green, planting trees, no plastic green spaces, but mashing up Graham House Sanctuary. No, don't let me start when for your station when they get and move from town. To replace it with a green space when they get and lick it down. Hearse before the cure, that was never necessary. Because look at the makeshift place they get and put them in Wildy. Darn knows if a campus trace ever happen again. This time around, at least 15 got dead. And just after the big move, you had a big fire in Nelson Street, and the neighbors tried so hard, but the house is still burned down to the feet. Then you could call a big conference and make a big scene, talk about gun violence, and got the other Caribbean countries laughing at me. But to my shock and horror, when I look at my phone screen, you could be on TV doing this. So what the hell does this mean? Or let's say what scene? You see, we as Bajans, we are so quick to forget. So the politicians, let's get there with teething and neglect. Cause the biggest one that I cannot get decipher is how they say turn around and use St. Clair as an advisor. Not St. Clair when a bash and so he going jail, and that he teach so much money that he can't even get bail. The day a politician get locked up out here, or you gonna strip naked and run out in the broad light today. Call Gabby say, that bitch is mine, I go bed anytime. Despite what they say, I go bed anyway. But you sure that bitch is yours? Cause the way it is looking just now, we gonna ask permission to go down on that shore. Cause they're selling everything, left, right, and center, and all the benefits going to the foreign investors. Man, I know we passive, but we can't be this blind. Cause Bajans really is one of a kind. Who a year to complain and on social media to speak the mind, but when elections come round, they'll hold up the hand for a dime. I mean, no politician ain't got to do nothing for me personally, as long as I see them helping the community. Cause when you get and sell out and give a nuisance a vote, you're gonna live in the same country with the cost of living cut in your throat. Riots in the land, riots in the land, riots, riots in this island. Cause sometimes I just want to move like buster and burn up and mash up things. But if it's a Walmart revolt, I'll make a make sense. You see, we were handed independence, so we think we above it. But if you don't know your history, you are bound to repeat it. We need to start laughing at new candidates. And nothing wrong with voting for independent. Listen to both sides and know what's happening. And don't tell me no shit about I get low and vote because it's working the government. But let me tell you something, cause this ain't just start. A lot of these politicians ain't got no good heart. Them in it for the money and to grease them own pockets while launching with your beer debt, but you ain't to talk about these topics. I feel that as we competing to see who can top it, to steal the most money, but guess what? We can stop it. Yes, we can stop it, cause the power in we hands. But first we must be more aware of what's going on in this land. Cause the most important thing right now is to vote in an opposition. Let me share with you my proposition. Ever had a friend that like bear yes men that don't want you to tell them when they're wrong and want you to pretend? You see, this dictatorship style ain't working for me, cause the truth is sometimes you need that voice to disagree. To keep things fair and bring another point of view, sometimes out with the old and in with the new. But you know the got some seats that already secure. And if you know where I live, you know that one down there for sure. But the shaky ones, we need to attack strategically, and don't tell me the rest ain't ready. Because some are wanna accustomed voting blindly. For the last time, enough I wanna vote for people I wanna never see. And they still do want ask. I know some I wanna will agree with me. So right now we need to move some. Don't take it personally. We got to treat this like a case and we's the jury. You see, we got to treat this like a case with prosecution and defense and listen to both sides and conclude what makes the most sense. Because if we do 30 seats to one side again, it's going to be a grave offense. And how the economy looking, it's going to be our children's expense. But what I know ain't got nothing to do with this. Just a divisory plan that we need to dismiss. The two Barbadoses, we need to come together in unity, and voting in an opposition is the best thing for the country. I've got a dream like Martin Luther King and stubbornness like Rosa Parks. Cause what I come to tell you, it coming from my heart. In a country that blackballs, yet I ain't got no fear. Because to change history, Mandela sat down for 27 years. For the first time, so many people aren't participating. But let me tell you something, not voting is still voting. Cause if you got 20 people and only 5 vote for the next, then you basically vote for the winning side cause you didn't vote against. So I beg you along and hard to go along to the polls. I know enough of we lost faith because who feel it knows. But we need to do something to end this drought. Go on tomorrow and make that vote count.